All right, what's up? Welcome into a very special edition of Snuffing Torches. Got me, Nate, Clemmer may be joining. He's being old and can't figure out how to join in StreamYard right now. So we'll see if he's able to do it.
I
Um,
wish that was an exaggeration. It was one click.
it's an extra click, but to be fair, he had a little trouble figuring it out. Hopefully, we'll be able to get him on here. Well, I mean, I don't know who's watching this, to be honest, at 11 a.m. on a Friday. But if anyone is in the chat, feel free to ask some questions as we go on. I did this to recap.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is this just you being a narcissist and wanting to talk about yourself?
Well, no. I mean, listen. Oh, there we go. I apologize, Tom. I thought you were cooked. We got the live chat. They want us to make content around the episode, so I have a video coming out. So, all right. Let me set the stage. 36-hour Survivor experience I did in like April. Listeners of the show probably heard me talk about it. 8 of us went out to Fiji, spent like 5 days in Fiji, 36 hours on the island. We did a full episode, built a shelter, voted someone out, tribal council, immunity challenge, yada, yada, yada. Just came out yesterday on Survivor YouTube. If you're watching this and haven't watched that, that makes no sense, but appreciate you watching. Go watch that on the Survivor YouTube. A lot of the comments filled with Tommy chants. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to recap this here, put up some clips on social over the next few days, and then sometime next week, I'm going to put out a Tommy cut, like a Zack Snyder cut, where it's just the episode and it's mainly me. You won't even know who the other 7 people are. It's just like, who's Tommy talking to all these people? So we'll get that out next week on my own YouTube channel, Tommy Smokes YouTube. And so, yeah, wanted to recap it, make some content around it. Rob has a podcast, and Steven Fishback did it yesterday. That was cool. But, yeah, I just wanted to walk through the
Did they say, I guess they didn't say mean things. Were they very complimentary about you?
They were complimenting about everyone. Rob was like, or Steven was like, I could see Tommy on Real Survivor. And Rob was like, yeah, it's just a question of like, if he wants to. I want to, Rob. I've been very clear about that. So, and I think from what I've been told, I'm going to be able to get a video into the hands of Jeff and the head of casting like immediately. So I'm going to make that over the next couple of weeks, and hopefully that could happen.
Is that going to be a Tommy Smokes like Sam Martin special with like, I'm going home, and it's like all
no, that's, I mean, your audition videos, I'm just going to talk in front of a camera for 3 minutes. They don't like it like super edited and stuff.
Oh, they don't.
They want you to just be raw talking to a camera. So that's what I'm going to do. But yeah, we'll save question, or if you have a good question as we go. That is the only episode. Somebody asked, that is the only episode. So let me say how this all started. Was like in February, Jordan Berry, who's like our talent, like books talent for us and PR. She said CBS reached out to her and was like, hey, Survivor wants to do stuff with you. Like, we were very unsure about the relationship because of like surviving Barstool. Like, are they going to sue us? But it turns out like, no. So they invited me and you, or Clemmer went, I think Meek Phil, we went to that Survivor pop-up for the 48 premiere. And then they were like, we're doing this cool little influencer thing. And they kind of explained it. I thought it was going to be a full mini surviving Barstool, like 8 of us down to a winner. So I had no idea what to expect, essentially, until we got to the island. First of all, I thought it was a prank. I thought this was like Mincy's revenge for me getting him fake arrested. Like, until I got to the air, they flew us out to LA. I spent a couple days in LA, and then we all met at the airport at Fiji Airlines at like midnight they sent really nice accommodations to Fiji. And as we were there, I had no idea who the other people were going to be on the cast. So Publicity, who used to work at Barstool, I saw her post the day we went, like, just got invited on a trip, one of my favorite brands. Like, I bought all this bug spray and ponchos and suntan lotion. I was like, well, she's got to be going on this trip, right? Like, what else could this possibly be? So I saw her at the airport. Then we had Hannah Kosh, who works for Unwell Network, Monet Exchange, who is a very famous like drag queen, won RuPaul's Drag Race, is on the next season of Traders. I didn't know who he was. Like, he introduced himself to me as Kevin at first, like, and then everyone kept being like, Monet Exchange, like, who the fuck? And he was like, yeah, you just seemed like, a straight guy. I wanted to give you Kevin. And then we had 2 Mr. Beast guys, Carl, who's like one of the main like creators at at the Mr. Beast company, and Sean Klitzner, who is a producer there. Then we had Davis Burleson, who does TikToks and also does a serious radio show, and Faith, who is like a beauty influencer. I think that lists everybody. That's 8. There were 8 of us.
Oh, you said Hannah. She works at Unwell.
Yeah, I said Hannah. So it was 8 of us, and like, you know, right off the bat, I'm like, all right, these Mr. Beast guys are super close, right? Like they work together. Hannah and Alyssa were clearly very close. I didn't know what to make of this to make of this cast. It wasn't, they did a good job of getting people from all different like sections of the internet. Like I think for the most part, like nobody really knew each other going into it. But yeah, we spent a couple days in Fiji, like getting accustomed to it, and then they took us out on a boat to the island we filmed it at is where they filmed Castaway, actually, the Castaway movie, and it's where they filmed some of the like sweat or savvy challenges, like, you know, at the beginning on the first episode. But it wasn't a beach where anyone was gonna stay, because they were like, we can't have you use this beach because season 49.
I mean, you use the resources to build shelter and fire.
So we got to the island and we got a little mini, like, I don't know, half-hour survivor training course that the real cast gets of here's how you open a coconut. Like, here's some tips about, like, you know, what you should do to build a shelter and stuff. Took us a while to figure out where to build the shelter. I don't know why. I always just assumed shelters were built like on the beach, like literally on the beach. But like you got to find kind of a place with cover. So we picked out this little place in the middle of like all these bushes. And I didn't do much of the shelter building, to be honest. Monet really led the charge there. But we got some palm fronds as like a roof. And then we probably didn't raise, they tell you to raise the bamboo, like the floor, because of like bugs. You don't want bugs crawling in you in the middle of the night. That's why you don't sleep in sand. We probably didn't raise it enough, but yeah, it was a good enough. Like I was impressed with the shelter we were able to build.
And people were like I still think people are skeptical. Like, oh, they definitely like already had pre-chopped bamboo for the shelter, or they had a guide there showing you how to weave the palm frond. Like none of that, right?
No, not like once it started, we were completely on our own. We weren't allowed to talk. Like it was the true Survivor camera crew. We weren't allowed to talk to like the camera people. Like there were the middle of the night. So the night was the hardest. Like I didn't realize this. The sun sets at 6 p.m. in Fiji, and it doesn't come up till like 6 a.m. So it's 12 hours of just darkness where you can't really like explore the island. You literally have to sit in your shelter. It was raining very hard. The camera guy, like when it ended, was like, that was the second worst weather net I've ever worked. I've worked on the show for like 10 years. So it was nonstop rain. That was the worst part. And like bamboo, I knew bamboo wasn't going to be comfortable to sleep on, but however uncomfortable you think bamboo is, like times it by 100. Like it was so fucking uncomfortable to sleep on that bamboo. It was insane. And we were just soaking wet in the middle of the night, getting dripped on throughout the whole night. If it was 12 hours of darkness, I might have slept for 20 minutes maybe, but it was a good like trauma bond where everyone was just telling stories the whole night. Like, and it is a thing of like who you sleep next to. I mean, it was kind of random, but you do end up feeling bonded to whoever you sleep next to. Like me and Faith coming into it, like Faith was throwing my name out early. So I went to do a confessional, and like they call it going for a walk. And so I went to do a confessional, and Faith was like, oh, he's looking for the idol. He's looking for the idol. So my name was immediately getting thrown out there pretty early on. Klitzner's name was getting thrown out a bunch because he hit the ground running, looking for an idol, like throwing a bunch of names out there. So he was kind of like the easiest target early
on. But wait, go back to the sleeping part. So you build this makeshift shelter. I feel like on the show they're always working on it and, you know, making it better. You guys had 3 hours to make it. You had no idea it was going to pour down monsoon on you. No. Or was anybody in the shelter like, this isn't what I signed up for? Like, I want to leave. Like, this is ridiculous.
No, I mean, they gave us the opportunity. They were like, listen, if anyone wants to leave.
They did.
Yeah, they were like, you can. And I think everyone deep down was like, you just can't. Like, I would have had to retire from the internet if I left.
You couldn't because you're a Survivor super fan. I could see one of the other people be like, well,
everybody was a Survivor super fan. That's why it worked. It's like,
they all were.
Yes, it wasn't like they just picked 8 random, like, I feel weird saying influencer, but that's what they called us. So, 8 influencers that did love Survivor. It wasn't just like, let's get,
that's
you
because
know,
I was gonna
Alex
say, like,
Earl and whoever.
I was surprised watching the episode that, I mean, they wouldn't have shown it, but that changes everything. Yeah, like if that was just like Faith was just like a random person, she would be like, yeah, what the fuck? I just had 2 days at a resort in Fiji. Like, I'm not doing this. But yeah, if you're all super fans, you have to stay.
Yeah, you have to do it. So it was, again, I can't stress enough how unpleasant that 12 hours was. And it was hot-ish during the day. But the night it got like colder, and then the wetness of the rain and everything was really, I wonder how well I would have slept without the rain. Like if it was just like a pretty nice night, I still don't think I would have slept great just because of the bamboo, but the rain obviously made it a lot harder.
Yeah.
The food, I saw someone ask, how much did bad sleep, lack of food affect your ability to be cordial with people? I actually didn't feel the hunger really. Like I didn't eat any. I mean, we had coconuts. You take a little bite of coconut, but we couldn't figure out the rice because we couldn't. Well, we tried to. We did get a fire going. Carl was great on the fire. We're throwing socks in it, but it was pouring, so we couldn't really keep that going.
Well, let's say this: you guys were not to downplay it, but you were at a Fiji resort, like before going to the island. It's not like you went there with like an empty stomach.
Yeah, we had a breakfast that morning. So I think we filmed it on a Thursday.
Do they do that on the real show? Like, do they go there full? Like,
I'm pretty sure on the real show they all stay at Ponderosa for a couple days before.
So they go well fed.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they go. I'm sure you eat before the morning that you get on. Yeah. So the hunger, I think is also just like adrenaline. The hunger never really got to me. The lack of sleep was annoying, and I drank so much water. I peed so much, like it became a running thing of how much I ended up peeing. I saw someone ask that I didn't poop. So they say for poop, there's like 2 schools of thought. Some people say, go do it in the woods, and then go wash off in the water. And then the other thing is the aqua dump, where you just drop your pants in the ocean and take a shit. I don't think anyone shit as far as I know. But yeah, I think I probably would have went aqua dump if I had to, if push came to shove. But yeah, I didn't have to go.
You had the funniest line about the water. Just, you guys have been on the island for, I don't know, half hour, and you guys look for water, and you just go, can someone else try that first?
Yeah. They give you like they have like a water well, and like we thought it was brown. We're like, oh no, this water is brown. It was just the tint of like the thing was brown. So that's what made it look brown. So the water was great. So yeah, stayed very hydrated on that. First day was just kind of, getting used to people. I clicked pretty early with Carl and Klitzner, the 2 Mr. Beast guys. We spent like an hour or 2 maybe just like exploring the island, kind of looking for an idol, but also just being like, let's go around and see stuff. So that led to a bit of a girls and gays alliance, as they called it, not my words, where you had Monet and Davis, and then Hannah, Alyssa, and Faith sort of teamed up, and that sort of left the 3 straight white guys on the outs a little bit. But I had an alliance with Hannah and Alyssa as well. I tried to make an unexpected alliance with Monet. I was like, hey, nobody will see the 2 of us coming, like Barstool, RuPaul's Drag Race. He didn't really bite on that too much. So that never really became a thing. But yeah, the first day, I'm trying to think of anything else. It got dark early and it started raining, so it wasn't the craziest first day. But yeah, the sleep. And the other thing is, you obviously have no idea what time it is. So the whole time in the shelter at night, you're just guessing, what time is it? We're bothering the cameraman. He's not allowed to talk. Please tell us the time. Please tell us the time.
Wait, yeah. Is the cameraman? I can't believe we haven't asked someone who's come on the show. The physical cameraman is just sitting there
whole night. Yeah, they might have switched out at some point. I don't really remember, but yeah, just one person just sitting there recording you the whole time.
Just sitting on a stump,
basically.
Damn, that's a shit job, huh?
I know, and holding a camera too.
Yeah.
That I felt bad for him, but very nice guy afterwards. So yeah, we woke up in the morning. had so the challenge was very hard. I saw somebody ask that. So it's the first challenge of 49. They let us like test run it. Jeff is there. Jeff recognizing me felt amazing. Like him being like, "What's up, stranger?" I was like, "Wow, he remembers me." So yeah, the challenge. I mean, that snake was, I want to say, I think they said it was 300 or 400 pounds, and I'm not the strongest guy. Hannah's like a relatively small girl. Like dragging that through, like they didn't show how hard we struggled on that. Like dragging it back through the maze of the ropes and stuff. Like there was a moment where I was like, I don't know if we can just fucking do this. Jeff was in my grill, and I think they cut this part, but he was like, talk all that shit on your podcast all the time. Like not as easy as it looks, does it? I was like, yeah, it's a lot harder than it looks. And then like we got it done to the balance beam thing with the ball. And at that point we were just so gassed, and like we might have got it halfway a couple of times, but the red team, which was Klitzner and Davis, were like pretty clearly ahead. So we were gassed at that point. That snake was so heavy.
Yeah, I mean, was it wet from the rain, or did they keep that shit dry?
It might have been a little wet, not too crazy. I don't remember. The mud, I was able to keep my face.
Oh yeah, wait. How come you? That's what I wanted to ask. How come you weren't covered in mud?
So I had my contacts in, so I really didn't want to get mud in my eyes. So a lot of people just went like straight through. There were some people I think might have slid through feet first. I actually don't even remember. I'm pretty sure I went face first, crawled on my stomach, and just like tried to avoid the mud as best as I could getting in my eyes. Like it slows you down, I don't know, 5 seconds, but like it's worth it, I think, to avoid having mud on your face.
And losing your contacts.
Yeah, exactly. So that was kind of going through my head. But yeah, cool challenge. Yeah, again, a lot hard. Like I don't want to be like, I never thought Survivor was easy. You obviously know like it's going to be hard. It was harder than I anticipated. Like it was extremely, extremely difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, the red team won. So Davis and Klitzner are safe. And now, Klitzner was kind of viewed as like, all right, because everybody, we liked each other. Like, so everybody was like, it's hard to, because you weren't playing for one winner. You're playing for one loser. Like I think how long did it take? Someone asked the challenge. Maybe 30 minutes. Again, a little hard to remember. If I had to guesstimate, I would say about 30 minutes. So yeah, Klitzner is now safe. Davis is safe. And so me and Faith sort of are on the outs. Faith, because like she wasn't doing as much around camp. And then you had the Girls and Gays Alliance where Klitzner was safe. People are like, we don't want to vote out Carl because he helped so much with the fire. And so that's just kind of left me on the out. So I felt like, I might be in a little bit of trouble here. I will say, like, if it was the real show, I probably would have targeted Carl, because like you can't have one person. If there's somebody that's ever like, we can't vote this person out, that's the person you have to vote out, because that means they're like the biggest threat to win.
Did you feel so? I don't know how to put this nicely. Barstool isn't viewed by, well, I guess Mr. Beast is like, Barstool's a little bit edgier than, like RuPaul's Drag Race and like Faith and I guess Unwell kind of. Did you feel a target for being a straight white man?
Yeah, I mean, I was quite literally targeted for being a straight white man. I think that I mean, it's funny to look at that cast and like never in my life am I like the fratty guy.
Well, that's kind of what I was saying. It's like
comparatively speaking, I was like kind of like the frat, and so I did have to break those expectations. Like I remember Faith being like, coming into it, like, because we slept next to each other in the shelter, and she was like, I didn't know like if you were going to be like elbowing me in the middle of the night. And she was like, what kind of monster do you think I am?
Yeah,
so I think I was able to like, and even like the CBS people, like the people who put it together behind the scenes that work in like marketing, they were like, we like thought you might be an asshole. Like we didn't know like what to think of you, like because of the Barstool connection and like on Twitter. But they were like, I put on a good showing for Barstool and myself to be like, listen, we're okay. We're not that bad. She actually said, which was very cool, is that Boston Rob like pushed for me. Like he put in a really good word for me, like with the CBS team being like, Tommy's a good guy. Like he'd be great on this. You got to put him on. So that was like incredible to hear.
Just along, Boston Rob also told me that Jeff called him and said, "Should we sue Barstool for surviving Barstool?" And Boston Rob was like, "No, they're cool. They're cool." So
yeah,
we owe a lot to Boston Rob.
Yeah, and I talked to Jeff about that, and he was like, "No, like I like that other people do it. It adds to the show." So my concern about it would be a real tough look for me if we ended up getting sued after I built this relationship with CBS. But it seems like we're on good terms with them. But yeah, for the vote, it seems like it was going to be like split on me or Faith. So there was a moment where I was like, all right, I'll just vote for Faith. But then I do remember there was a conversation me and Faith had one-on-one where it was like, why would we vote for each other? Like that's kind of the easy way out. Faith was also very much like, let's put on a show, like for the people, like let's not do the easy vote. Like let's make a blind side. And so then for me, it became good that I was viewed as like the easy vote, because it was like, all right, well, if we don't want to do the easy vote, then sure, I am the easy vote, right? So let's do something crazier. And so we had kind of talked about it. And then the Mr. Beast guys, Klitzner and Carl, came up to us and were like, how would you guys feel about voting out like Hannah? If the four of us, they're all splitting their votes between you two, the four of us vote out Hannah. Again, if it was the real show, so we would have had, if the four of us are sticking together, we'd have had to vote between Hannah, Alyssa, and Monet because Davis is safe. I probably would have wanted to put the votes on Monet because I thought probably bigger threat to win in the end. But again, when it's one vote, it's like fine. Like I kind of thought voting out Publicity would have been funny just because we had the prior relationship, and she would have had no idea it was coming. Like she even at Tribal was like, I think I'm like incredibly safe. Like I haven't heard my name. So I thought from a blindside perspective, that would have been like the most comedic option, but they kind of wanted to do Hannah because they were like, we think, well, she'll take it better. Like she'll be like, probably the best sport about it. And at that point, like I'm on the bottom, my name's getting thrown out there. Like I liked Hannah, I liked Alyssa, but I was like, listen, I'll vote for fucking whoever is not me. So I actually don't think they didn't really show that strategy talk between the four of us, mainly because I think we might have done it like very quickly for 30 seconds off camera. So I don't know if they actually got a good shot of that. Because the second day, we had a big camera crew, but I think it dwindled down a little bit because season 49 literally started 2 days later. So people were busy preparing for that. So yeah, that, and I actually like that it came out that way for the audience because it's a total blindside. That it ends up being Hannah. But yeah, that's how that happened for anyone wondering, because obviously it does seem a little bit random. It was me, Faith, Carl, and Klitzner got together and we were like, let's put our 4 votes on Hannah. Now, unbeknownst to me, they had found the idol, the Mr. Beast guy. So we did a good amount of idol search. So I wasn't like, you don't want to be the Klitzner who hits the ground running and like looks for the idol immediately because it's a target on your back. And it's also like, I only have to be safe for 1 vote, right? So there's a few different ways to be safe for 1 vote. 1 is you win the challenge. 2 is you just make enough alliances where people don't vote for you. And 3 is you find the idol. So idol was like third. That was like, in my mind, that was like
that's
third
surprising. I thought you would want to find it as like a bucket list type thing. Like Tommy found the idol.
Yeah. I mean, obviously it would have been cool. And then you could have had all the votes. I could have like done stuff where all the votes came on me and then I get to, decide who goes home. But I look like it was hard to find.
How long did you look? Or how long did everybody look, I guess?
I mean, the first day we were looking kind of because we weren't positive there would be one. And then at the challenge, Jeff was like, at the end of the challenge, Jeff was like, by the way, there is an advantage hidden there. So we hit the ground a little bit more hard running. That's when they ended up finding it. When Klitzner found it was after the challenge, before Tribal Council. I mean, in total, I might have looked for, 3 hours between the days. Okay. Yeah, it was incredibly hard to find. Like I actually still don't even I know they showed where he found it, and I think they showed me it, but it was hard to like it literally it's just in a random tree. Like it truly is like a needle in a haystack. So yeah, I didn't know they had that. So I felt going into Tribal, I felt pretty good because I knew the 4 of us were voting Hannah. Now, obviously, there's the chance people are lying to you, but I was like, I was like, this would be such an insane lie for them to do to me for no reason, right? Like I'm already like they have the idol. I'm already kind of on the chopping block. Like going this extra level, you got to think about like what are people's motives, and I felt like that probably wasn't their motive. I mean, you never know, but I was very nervous. Like there's like probably a half hour that we're just sitting on the beach waiting for the boat to come, doing like shots back and forth where you walk up and down the beach and they take you on a boat. This is something interesting is, so for the challenge, we went in a truck, or we might have taken a boat first. Took a boat and then went on a truck where like you're completely blacked out. They put down everything. You're not allowed to talk to each other. Like the real contestants are definitely not allowed to talk to each other. We could have, but we wanted the true experience. So like we weren't talking to each other. You're blacked out. It's incredibly hot. And then you just kind of, it's like you get a mask off and like, it's like, oh, here's the challenge. And then you wait a little bit to get mic'd up and all that stuff. But yeah, and then for tribal council, it was probably like a 40-minute boat ride in like the nighttime where, again, same thing, can't see where you're going really. They really want to disorient you. Like they were very clear, like we don't like the contestants being like, okay, this is my island. This is where the challenges are. This is where tribal council, like they want you to be as disoriented as possible. And they do a very good job of that. The tribe, like walking through up to the tribal council set was probably the most surreal I've ever felt. The set is sick. I don't know why in my head I didn't realize it was outside, which makes sense. Like because they do.
Wait, what do you mean you didn't know it was
like
outside?
I thought there was more of a roof kind of. Like I knew it was mainly outside, but I thought it was almost like a big outdoor like tiki structure,
like a canopy. Almost.
Yeah, not a canopy, but I just thought maybe it was like wood, like a pyramid that goes up and you could get rained on.
Because it rains. So like, it's outside.
Yeah, but it is like the sky. I mean, at least, I don't know, maybe in old seasons different, but the sky you get, I mean, it didn't rain when we were there, but it would just rain on you very clearly.
I mean, the set was crazy big.
Yeah. It's awesome. Jeff talked about the sets being built on top of each other for 43, 44. Was that the case? I'm not sure. I don't know about 50. I know we use like stuff for 49. I would imagine maybe they're doing other like stuff for 50 to make it more special. I'm not sure. But Jeff, I mean, also another thing, Jeff Probst, just unbelievable. So I think apparently going into it, Emily CBS, shout out Emily, she like came up with the whole idea. It was like her brainchild. And I think at first, like Jeff was a little hesitant because they had never done anything like that before, where you let civilians get to play Survivor on a limited scale. He was hesitant, but I think he appreciated how bought in we all were, and he was into it by tribal council. And the way he doesn't wear anything in his ear, like a lot of TV show hosts, they wear an IFB mic or whatever in their ear. He just right down the line, question, answered. Okay, Tommy. Okay, Faith. Okay, like just one after another, like knows exactly what he's going to say. It was just surreal to see like how good Jeff is.
Yeah. I mean, and he was so bought in, which like you just said, or he's just like the best pro of all time, but like, no, He treated you guys as if it was the real show, which obviously he had to do because there's 1,000 cameras, but it's good to hear that he also, again, you guys being super fans probably helped a lot, because when he did his research or whatever, it probably showed through, because if you guys were just like random whatevers, he wouldn't have been as bought in.
How long was your tribal? So, I mean, the whole experience was probably over 2 hours. If you factor in like the boat ride over, then you sit in these tents to like get mic'd up, and like you're just again sitting there in silence. And then so that was like very nerve-wracking. It was probably a half hour. We're just waiting for everything to be ready. Then you walk. Someone said, how far is the walk to tribal? Like I said, about a 40-minute boat ride, and then I don't know, not a long walk once you get to wherever you had to be. And so the tribal itself with like Jeff and the questions might have been a half hour total. Maybe like the questions were 20 minutes and then people vote, you read the vote. Might have been a little longer. It's hard to remember. I'm sure a real tribal council, I think they usually say goes on like 45 minutes an hour. So yeah, going into tribal, there was a little part of me that was like, should I switch my vote to Faith? because I was like, all right, well, if Faith Klitzner and Carl are all voting for Hannah, then like that doesn't need my vote. Then I could put 3 on Faith, 3 on Hannah. Or what if Faith switches her vote to me? But ultimately, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna stick with the plan. Like I believe these people. I believed Faith, Carl, and Klitzner. Like I felt like we had enough of a bond where I did trust them. So I just decided to stick with the plan, and I'm glad I did because Carl got up and plays his idol. Had nobody knew he had it besides Klitzner. And when he plays it for Faith, I was like, huh. I was like, I wish I knew that he had it, but it was better he played it on Faith than Hannah. If he played it on Hannah, I would have been incredibly worried. I'm like, well, that's it. I'm fucked. But him playing it on Faith, I was like, well, that's not great because that is somebody who's getting votes that isn't me, but it could be worse. So in that moment, I wasn't like, oh, I'm fucked. If anything, it was more like, all right, I think the plan is still for real. But still, my heart was beating.
Bro, that was perfect Survivor TV because we all thought you were going home when he played it on Faith. It was like, oh, all right, Tommy's going home. This is the worst thing that ever happened to Tommy.
Yeah.
Change his identity.
It would have been so bad.
It would have. Yeah.
I think for me specifically, like I know, like Hannah took it well, and she was like, you know, like they're like, you're the only one that gets your torch snuffed and gets the full Survivor experience. I think for me, with how much I've talked about the show, like going out for now, I would have had to have my spin zones ready, but I was very glad it did not end up being me.
I like that they did kind of soften it for everybody. Like the only person being voted off is the biggest threat. And it was like little like pats on the head. Like they had to do that. I don't think that would have worked with you. You would have just been. I mean, you would have tried, but
I would have been inconsolable. Is there anything about the tribal experience that makes you rethink all the easy votes? I mean, I think it's just like even something that looks like an easy vote isn't an easy vote because you're always going to have paranoia. And again, like you're on a TV show, like you have cameras and you have like, you know, Jeff and a production team. So it adds to like how big it feels. Where sure, like, you know, there's obviously a ton of seasons where it's like, well, this person's going home. But I bet even somebody who thinks there's like no chance they're going home and doesn't go home still probably had a moment where they thought they were probably going home. Like, I think that everybody, it's just natural. It's just because of the scope of it to feel like, damn, it might be me. Yeah. Once Tribal ended, I think, you know, that was kind of it. Like Jeff talked to us for a little bit and then they took us to like this like little whatever, a room somewhere, and we ate a bunch of pizza and like had some drinks and stuff. So it was nice to like
wait, and where'd you sleep that night?
Back at the resort.
Oh,
we got back probably by like, I don't know, 1 a.m. midnight or something like that. It was probably it might have been a little over 36 hours. Like I know it's called 36 hours. I think from the time we got to the beach to the time Tribal was over, it might have been like 38 or 40 maybe. But yeah, so that was the Friday night, and Friday night we got back to the beach. How bad's the Fijian pizza? It tastes a lot better when you haven't eaten in 40 hours, but yeah, it's not great.
Were you stinky? Was everybody smelly?
Yeah, probably. I mean, my shirt. So that shirt and those pants I ended up just leaving in the Fiji resort. I was like, these smell so bad. I can't take these back in a suitcase with me. I like bought a bunch of clothes specifically for the show and just left them all there basically.
Oh, I had a question. When Carl did every every confessional, he was swarmed by bugs. But when you did it, it didn't look like you were being swarmed. What was that?
So we all did a confessional the first day when we got to the beach, like not long after we got to the beach, we all did a confessional. I saw somebody ask, they're far away. Like there's no way anyone could hear you. They're far away. And then so I think like 3 or 4 people. So I think like Faith and Carl like might have had more confessionals. Them and maybe one other person did confessionals the second day. And I think we probably were all supposed to do confessionals the second day and just ran out of time between like the the challenge and tribal council. So I didn't have a second confessional. So if I had to guess, the bugs were probably his second confessional.
Got it.
Yeah, because that was, I think, the second day, and it's a little bit more sunny out. They give you a preview of the 49 players. Yeah. So Saturday, we like just had a sick boat day. This place, Cloud 9, drank a bunch. And then season 49, we watched the taping of. We got to the island and like we watched literally when they come off the boat and like and Jeff's like, guy in the blue, what's your name? Guy in the blue. And then they do the first challenge. We watched all of that like from the sidelines. A little bit hard to hear, but like we saw all that, which was sick. So that was like, you know, another bucket list type thing. And then we actually, I won't say what it was, but we actually also on Monday got to test run the second immunity challenge. So we got to do that. So when we recap that episode, I'll talk about my experience doing that. I don't want to like spoil what that was, but I was like, because it was like right before we went to the airport and I was very nervous. I was like, I don't want to get hurt on this challenge that means nothing. Like I don't want to get hurt on a challenge. They're not even fucking filming like right before I go to the airport. So I was nervous about that, but that was very cool. So yeah, that's pretty much the experience. I'm trying to think of anything else like that I wanted to. I mean, obviously it's hard to remember a little bit. It was 5 months ago, but yeah, I mean, now I'll open it up to the chat. Any questions? Eric, if you have any questions. Do you think it helps or ruin your chance of making the actual show? Definitely helps. Like they were very much like, this does not disqualify you from going on the real show. Like if anything, it might help. Like I don't know if you were watching early Merman Ball, but I was talking to CBS people, and I think I'm going to be able to get my audition tape right into the hands of Jeff and the head of casting for season 51 or 52.
I almost feel like that's a bad thing. It's like it's right in the hands of Jeff.
I know, like if he says no.
Right.
Yeah, so that is a concern. I do think, like, I do worry that there would be like a real target on my back on the real show, because like even on this, like a couple people knew. I think Hannah was telling people like Tommy won surviving Barstool, like Tommy won surviving Barstool.
It, Hannah, come on, Hannah.
You get it. That's gameplay. And so like I feel like, you know, every cast, like we pretty much from doing this podcast for the past, however, 8 seasons, there's always, I'd say 3 or 4 people that end up DMing us or like, I like snuffing torches. So if we're going by that statistically, like there's going to be at least, I don't know, 4 people that might recognize me and might be like, oh, he does a Survivor podcast. He knows the game. And like, maybe I'll be targeted for being a straight white guy. Like, I don't know. It depends.
It's all super fans anyway on the real show at this point. So
yeah,
like, I don't know. Like everybody knows the game. I feel like there's a decent amount of influencers on each season. Like there's people, you know, 50,000, 60,000 Instagram followers every season. I think you'd be all right. Now, here's the thing. I think now I'm going to try to get on Survivor.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. But I think the lack of sleep, it's just.
Are you more confident to do well in the real show? From a survival standpoint, yeah. Like, I don't know. In my head, like it's like I had as bad a night as I could have in Fiji, and survived. So that makes me like feel good. Like where it's like, obviously 26 nights or however long. Let's say I lasted 20 nights, whatever it is way harder than 36 hours. I understand that, you know, time it's a snowball effect. It gets harder and harder, but it's nice to know that like, all right, I slept on the island on bamboo for 12 hours and I survived. Like there would be at least a little bit of like, okay, I know what to expect. Did you take your shirt off to reduce your threat level? Wish I kept my shirt on a little bit more.
Not nice, Garrett.
That was like, I was going through a gym phase and I had stopped like a few weeks before that. Wish I kept that on a little bit more, but whatever. Could have been worse.
Yeah, you look fine. Yeah,
did you try making fire with Flint? A little bit, really, really hard. That's something where if I'm getting on the real show, I would really have to practice. It was like I was watching YouTube videos like the night before, like in LA on the way to the airport. Like, how do I make Flint? How do I make Flint? Or sorry, how do I make fire with Flint? That was difficult.
Will that be in the Tommy edit?
I don't even know. I attempted so little that I'm not sure that it will even be enough.
I'm surprised. I thought you would. I don't know. I thought you would make fire.
Well, it was also like it was rain. Everything was wet.
Yeah,
So
sure.
it was to a degree, it was like a zero.
Well,
Like
how did you guys make that fire? They didn't show the fire. They didn't show the process. Like,
it
did you
just
guys
took a while.
gather?
The car was really good. Like we threw some socks in it. Like
But how did you find the dry wood?
there was just like we tried to get some and put it under the shelter to dry off, basically. But it wasn't like the longest fire of all time. I'll say that. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what else. Any more questions in the chat?
Did you take anything with you from the island? Sand, rocks, torches?
Yeah, I actually.
Oh, you're buff.
So yeah, got a buff that I could actually finally hang up because we weren't allowed to post about it. We weren't allowed to post it because it's just a 49 buff, but now they're all out, so I could complete my. You'll see right there, I got 5 buffs hanging. Clearly a spot for a 6th one. Could put this one up, and then I got this rock. I just took this the last day. I thought that'd be cool, just from the beach in Fiji, and then they all gave us a hidden immunity idol that like Carl ended up finding. So yeah, definitely. Oh, and I got this too. One of my votes. They let me get that. So I got
who wrote that?
Monet or Davis. I'm not sure. One of them. Probably look back at the footage and figure it out.
Nice.
So yeah, obviously unbelievable experience. Like 2 of the great. I mean, and also like obviously Survivor experience was cool. The rest of the Fiji trip was just a blast. Like just like drinking at a 5-star resort, like flying first class, like that was all that was all fantastic as well. But yeah, the experience, and I said this I think to you the other day, like we got to the resort, let's say Wednesday night, I slept there and I was like, God, this pillow sucks. It was like a small pillow. And then after sleeping on bamboo for a night, I went back and I was like, this is the most comfortable pillow I've ever had. So definitely, for at least a little while, it gave me a little bit more appreciation for the finer things in life. As time goes on, it's like, all right, well, you lose that a little bit, but definitely, it definitely gives you a perspective. And it was cool being like disconnected entirely for, 30. There was a point where they were going to give us our phones. They were like, do you guys want to like capture content with your phones while you're there or anything? And we were like, no, like we want the true experience. Like we don't want it when we're on the island. Like we'll just take all the cameras. They gave it to us for like 10 minutes at one point just so we could get some pictures. I took like a selfie with like the buff on in front of like a big rock. But other than that, no.
I was gonna say like maybe like 5 minutes with your phone on the island would have been cool, just like for memories. But I guess they filmed everything, so
they filmed everything, and they had cameras there. Davis brought a disposable camera, so we have some of that. And then I got the selfie. Any other questions? What happens when you place your vote in the container? I believe there was like a little slot within a box, if I remember correctly. And then they like order the votes themselves. Let me look back here if there was anything. How long did you look for the idol? Did you have any idea what the challenge was beforehand? No idea. Did you apply for 51, 52 already? No. Like I said, I'm going to make the video over the next probably 2 weeks, and I'll send it to the CBS people. What are some things we wouldn't know or you didn't expect at all when you're there? I think like in the best way possible, it really is like what you see is what you get. Like there is no like, all right, everyone, like time for a hamburger, time to take a shower. Like it is truly like what you see is what you get. Again, I guess like just the darkness is something that I like surprised me, like didn't really think of. It's just like that it would be dark for 12 hours because, I don't know, in like New York right now, sunsets at 8 or something. Like I don't know, I just didn't realize like, oh wow, it's going to be dark for 12 hours and like we're going to have nothing. Again, bamboo, a lot more uncomfortable. And then it is like you do like feel like you're on a TV show. Like there's big crews and stuff and like cameras and you got to get mic'd up. Like it's a weird, like it's like not, and it's weird because they don't talk to you. They're not allowed to talk to you. So like it's a very weird thing. And eventually you kind of get used to, all right, it's just the 8 of us or however many, but obviously it's a grand $1 million production. Anyone take a poop? No, like I said, I don't think so. Are we not getting 51 in fall 2026? No, I think it will be.
Spring, fall, right?
Yeah, they'll probably tape 51 in April, May, and then put that out in fall. Anyone else? Yeah, I mean, overall, just really cool experience. Hopefully it gets me on 51 or 52.
We're not going to be great at, if you get on at lying about where Tommy is. I don't know. We'll have to, I don't want to say.
We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I feel like it doesn't really matter if people know you're on. Like, I know they want to keep it secret, but if I'm like, I would have to say something like, hey guys, I'm going away for a month.
Grandma's in the hospital.
See that happen? I'm probably on fucking Survivor.
Yeah. If Grandma gets sick, Tommy's on Survivor.
Yeah. Do you remember what you said to the camera when you voted for Hannah? Yes. I think I'll probably put that in the Tommy edit. I think we're just like, no hard feelings. Like, you're great, but I'm better. Something along those lines. Little villainy. How quickly did you feel the need to start talking strategy? Again, that's tough because you don't want to immediately be like, let's be an alliance. Let's be an alliance. Like, I think you want to more spend the first few hours like bonding with people over random shit. Like, me and Carl bonded over just being huge Survivor fans, huge Yankee fans. Like, we were like both like started watching with our dads when we were a kid. Like, we were just cut from the same cloth essentially. And so eventually it was like, oh, first Survivor alliance. But you don't want to do it like too right out of the gate, I think. How quickly did you, or sorry, I just asked that. Any big takeaways could translate to another season of Surviving Barstool? No, I think, you want to keep it different enough. We don't, I mean, we're not going to do it on an island. Oh, Nate, who gets your jib cut for the episode?
Ooh, great question. Geez. Klitz. He he went in like just like not like from his edit. Like he was taking this shit like I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to. On the real show, I could see him being like a Johnny Fairplay, backstabbing, not giving a fuck. Like, he was looking for idols. He was playing really hard in a situation where he probably could have played 50% as hard. And I just liked his aggression, his intensity. It was, I could see him just being the worst person to play with. Just like, he was talking out of both sides of his mouth, like in a 36-hour influencer Survivor. So yeah, I like the.
So he's like a huge producer, like one of, if not the top producer for Beast Games, and like he definitely has the reality TV mindset. And there's part of me was like, man, should I play like so crazy balls to the wall? But in my head, I was like, I just don't want to be the person voted out. And if I do that, I might get voted out. And like, he probably would have got voted out if he didn't win immunity.
Yeah, but then he found it. And I was like, yeah, that's jib cut worthy. Like,
yeah,
find
it. Yeah, he was great.
Yeah.
You're very good at reading people. Select 51, 52. What type of players' personality traits would you look to align with? I've always said I would want to work with like the mom archetype. Yeah. I think I would want to find someone that isn't that strategic, like as my number one ally. I think probably like I think I usually aligned well with women. Like when I've done, like I had Sydney and Jordan in Most Dangerous Game. I had Kelly and Brianna in Surviving Barstool season 1. I think like if I could have an ideal like first alliance with like a tribe of 6, it would be like one older woman, one girl around my age, and then like maybe like a strong guy that like isn't going to be like the most strategic, but like would be good to keep around for challenge purposes or whatever. But basically it's like I will align with anyone who wants to align with me. Like what makes you a threat is wanting me out. So that's sort of where I look at it, how I look at it.
Get it on the show would be great for the podcast.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be able to do it, but you guys could.
What do you mean?
I don't think I'd be able to do it like during like as it airs.
Of course you would. Of course you would.
I think there's no chance I'd be able to.
You film it, it airs 6 months later. You wouldn't be able to recap the episodes?
I think there's usually like a very strict like press freeze of like only the person who gets voted out then goes on like podcasts and does interviews.
Huh. I didn't think they could stop you from doing
I
your
definitely want
job.
to be able to do it live. I'll tell you that much because like in case I slipped up and said something.
I thought they would be like, yeah, like just don't say anything.
No, I think it would have to be like, I think it'd be funnier, actually better. Like I don't do it, and you, Clemmer, and whoever else just like break it down. Like I won't tell you guys where I finish.
Damn.
So we're gonna do Snuff and Torches for season 49. So I actually, you didn't see it, but I saw the premiere of 49 at our event. Oh yeah, we had an event in New York City that was very cool to premiere our episode. I obviously I can't say anything about 49, but I will say it looks promising. I liked the cast of characters. I don't know if we're gonna be able to do it Wednesday night because I have a Mascots live show in Chicago. If you're in Chicago, Joe's on Weed, 8 p.m. So I've seen the episode already. There's a chance we might be on the screener list this year. Actually, I'm gonna see if we're gonna be able to get on that. That would obviously make things a lot easier. So we will have episodes, but again, this first Wednesday might be a little tricky, so we'll figure that out. We'll have it up at some point. It just might not be right after the episode, and then, or maybe we could pre-record it. But you haven't seen it yet, is the issue.
It's all right. I can.
We'll figure it out. And then going forward, try to do every Wednesday. I mean, if there's a conflict with like Yankee playoff game or what another work thing, but the plan is to do it as much as we can. But obviously the fall is always a little bit harder to be consistent than the spring, but going to try to be as consistent as possible. The season continued on. How do you think you would have fared? It's tough to say. Again, I don't know if I would have voted. I think if the season was going fully, I probably wouldn't have voted Hannah out because I trusted her and Alyssa and the Mr. Beast guys. But let's say it did. Let's say it continued on as if that happened. Then it'd be the 7 of us. Ideally, we'd maybe stick together for another vote, or maybe Klitz loses. I would probably try to get Carl out soon, just because like I think he was a bigger threat to win. I think the if I was able to survive like another vote or two, I would have liked my chances to get to the end because I don't know if people would have been looking at me as like the biggest threat to win. And then I would have been able to get to the end and hopefully won. Maybe I would have, if I could have been at the end with like, I don't know. Let me try to think.
Well, you bring Faith with you.
Maybe me, Alyssa, and Faith final 3 or something like that. I don't know. It's hard to say.
I'd vote for Alyssa to win.
I kind of thought it was going to go on. Like, I think maybe they might do it again. Maybe they would try to do a winner, but obviously the sets are so big and stuff where you can't. It's a lot easier in surviving Barcelona in office to be like, here's a challenge, tribal council challenge, tribal council. It's harder when you're on an island, but still unbelievably cool. And yeah, I mean, if you haven't watched the video, go watch it. It's on the Survivor YouTube. Keep those Tommy chants going in the chat. Maybe make it even seem like you don't know me. Like maybe say something like, wow, never heard of Barstool before, but this Tommy guy really should be on the real show. Like shit like that. And then, yeah, I'll have a video on my YouTube, the Tommy cut, within a week-ish, we'll say. And then, yeah, back for Snuff and Torches this season. Nate, you got anything final?
Great job, Tommy. We're all very proud of you.
Thank you. Subscribe, like the video. That's it. See you guys.
Bye.